everybody. How are you, my dear children? I hope you're doing really, really well. So as I told you in yesterday's class, I hope you've put a photograph of your parents right there on your, study table or the place where you study. Yes, or your hostel room or wherever you're based, and you've done that. And you get extremely motivated and deeply inspired by doing this, by looking at them every single day. Yes. So the countdown has started. We are on day 29th now. Yes, yesterday was 5th. Today is the 6th. Correct, everybody? Yesterday there was a little glitch. I couldn't see you in the morning at 11 a.m. but we did meet each other right in the evening at 7 p.m. Yes, everybody? Correct. So how's the Josh? Are you all feeling good? Are you scared? Which I'm sure some of you are. Some of you feeling extremely scared. And probably, as the day is coming closer, you kind of want to just give up. You are a little demotivated. Don't let that happen. Let me tell you just one line here. Nothing in life, absolutely nothing in life which is worth having comes easy. ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है जिंदगी में जो बहुत मेहनत से, बहुत मुश्किल से, बहुत इबादत से मिलता है, जो कि बड़ा आसानी से मिल जाए. No, it doesn't happen like that. For whatever big you want in life, you've got to work very, very hard. Let me also tell you that your goals, whatever your goal is, whatever you want to achieve in life, it doesn't care about how you feel. So it doesn't care whether you've not had enough sleep. It doesn't care whether you've not had enough food. It doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if you're not able to remember. It doesn't care if you're overburdened with work. It only cares about hard work. Yes. So your goal doesn't bother whether you're sick, whether you are tired, whether you are ill, whether you're missing your parents. Yes, or whether you have some other personal professional problem. No, your goals only care about how hard you're working. Let me tell you, it is cutthroat competition. Exactly. All of you who are there are actually standing with chaku, churi and daggers in your hands, and you are going to leave no opportunity to hit the person next to you, because there are very few seats and far larger number of people who are attempting. Yes, so in absolute cutthroat competition, what you have to do is you have to actually study day in and day out. You have to burn the midnight oil. You have to make sure that you really, really put in all the efforts. Yes, last few days you cannot afford to go easy. You cannot afford to stay less motivated. You cannot afford to waste even one single minute. Forget one day. So push out all the negativity. Stop talking to people who pull you down. Stop talking to people who who put negativity in you, who tell you कि यार मैंने तो इतना पढ़ लिया, तुमने कितना पढ़ा है. Stop talking to people who will tell you कि यार अच्छा ये किताब नहीं पढ़ोगे तो ये हो जाएगा, यहाँ से कर लो. आपने जो 2 साल किया है, आपने जो 3 साल किया, आपने जो किताब पढ़ी, आप वही पढ़ोगे. Last minute you're not going to include anything new. You will do what you've been doing. You will stick to your NCRTs. You will stick to the Vedanta YouTube channel. You will stick to all the books that you've been studying. Yes. So last few days, you will just stay extremely motivated. You will stay very, very positive, and you will make sure that out of 24 hours, you are clocking in at least 15 to 16 hours of self-study. And you will also take very good care of yourself. You will sleep well in the evening so that the next day morning, you get up fully charged. Is that fine? Yes, everybody, right? Take very good care of your health, because you cannot afford to fall sick in the last moment. Yes. So with that, let's come to the last part of genetics and evolution. This is the 6th class of the NEET series, and we are on evolution 2. We have done evolution 1 yesterday. I hope you enjoyed the class. I absolutely loved hearing from you. All your comments were so endearing, so nice. So let's start with evolution 2, and tomorrow we are going to start the next topic. Done? Cool. Let's start. Yes, everybody, are you all boosted with energy now? Chalo. So let's start the class. Come on. Yes, a lot of things which we discussed yesterday will come in the form of questions today. A lot of new things we are going to discuss in today's class. So come on, everybody, a paper and pen ready. Make the notes of the extra points that I'm discussing. Listen carefully, answer well. Mark yourself +4, -1, so that at the end of the session, you know how well you are doing. Yes, come, let's start. So the theory will be discussed along with the topics. Yes, along with the topic in today's class especially is very, very important, because in today's class I have discussed a lot of theory. So I have added a lot of slides with detailed theory from NCRT. right? Detailed theory from NCERT has been added in the slides. Along with that, we've put one lecture of evolution on the NEET YouTube channel. So please go back home and don't forget to see that. Question number 1 on your screen now. I move my photograph so that you are able to see the question clearly. Question number 1 on your screen now. The extinct human who lived about 100,000 to 40,000 years ago in Europe, Asia and parts of Africa. ये कैसा था? इसका stature बहुत short था. Let me use a nice blue colored pen. इसके eyebrows बहुत मोटे थे. Forehead पीछे को जाता था. So it was a retreating forehead. Yes, did you understand? Yes, can you appreciate that? The forehead was going behind. Jaws बहुत बड़े थे. Teeth were also big. The body was well built. He was like Khali. Yes, exactly. And a lumbering gait, टेढ़ा टेढ़ा होकर चलता था. Posture ऐसे झुका हुआ था, stooped posture. What was it? Yes, was it a Homo habilis? Was it a Neanderthal man? Was it a Cro-Magnon man? Or was it a Ramapithecus, Sivapithecus types? Yes, what's your answer on my screen? Correct. Well answered. They are very well answered. It was a Neanderthal man. Let me show you all these characteristics so that you can remember. Any one of these characteristics can come in the exam, and the answer then will be Neanderthal man. Yes, so many of you are also telling me, let me just take a second here and tell you, so many of you are telling me that you like me so much more in the studio. Yes, even I like it so much more in the studio. I'm going to get back to Bangalore soon, but till such time I have some commitments. I have to travel a lot. Right, but that's the beauty of the system that we all call Vedantu. We don't have to be together, but imagine even then, look at the connect. I know so many of you by name. So many of you send me such amazing comments and compliments on YouTube. So please bear with me. I hope this is equally interesting as the studio. Yes, I hope you don't mind. I hope this is equally interesting as the studio. Yes. Correct. Chalo. So let's start. Let me show you photographs of Neanderthal man. Correct. So see, look at this person. Let me use it. He's short, but he's well built. Right. So this is stocky. Look at the forehead there. Look at this forehead. Yes, the forehead is slanting. The features are a little coarse. They are not well-defined features. Look at the nose. Yeah, the jaws are very well built, and therefore they will have big teeth. Is that clear? So this is your Neanderthal man. Is that clear? Any doubts on this? Super cool. Yes? Okay. According to Darwin, the organic evolution is due to, right? Why does organic evolution take place? Is it for competition within closely related species? Two species who are closely related, क्या वो आपस में करते हैं? इंट्रा और इंटर मैंने लास्ट क्लास में आपको समझाया था, जेई और नीट का एग्जाम्पल लेकर. याद आया? कितने बच्चों को याद आया? इंट्रा इज विद इन द सेम. आप सारे बच्चे 300-400 बच्चे जो अभी क्लास बैठ के देख रहे हैं, आप सारे के सारे नीट के लिए क्लास देख रहे हो. यस, सो दैट इज इंट्रा स्पेसिफिक, विद इन द सेम genus, within the same species for that matter. Yes, within the same species. Intra genus hoga within the same genus. Intra specific hoga within the same species. Inter, I told you in the last class, inter college, दो college के बीच में. International, between two nations. So interspecific is between two different species. Organic evolution किसकी वजह से होता है? Intra की वजह से या inter की वजह से? It is between intra. देखो बेटा, मैंने पिछली बार आउल और पिजन का एग्जांपल भी दिया था. डू यू रिमेंबर 5th की शाम की 7 बजे की क्लास? डू यू रिमेंबर द आउल एंड पिजन एग्जांपल? आउल का आउल से कंपटीशन ज्यादा होगा, पिजन का पिजन से कंपटीशन ज्यादा होगा. जब दो पिजन्स आपस में कॉम्पीट करेंगे, हो सकता है एक टाइप का पिजन कंपटीशन में हार जाए तो वो एक्सटिंक्ट हो जाएगा, और जो पिजन ज्यादा स्मार्ट होगा वो नई स्पीशीज बनाएगा. आउल और पिजन का तो कोई कंपटीशन है ही नहीं, बिकॉज दे ईट फूड एट डिफरेंट टाइम्स, वन इन द मॉर्निंग, वन इन द इवनिंग. दे ईट डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ फूड, दे हैव डिफरेंट हैबिटेट्स एंड डिफरेंट निशेस. सो द इंट्रा स्पेसिफिक कंपटीशन, आई एम रिपीटिंग वन लास्ट टाइम, दिस इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फ्रॉम MCQ point of view. The intra specific competition is the one which is the most severe competition, the strongest competition, the most severe competition, which causes maximum evolution, is the intra-specific competition. It is the competition which occurs within the same species. Is that clear? Moving ahead. So intraspecific competition leads to evolution. Remember this statement. It is very, very important. You can see two antelors, two gazelles fighting here. They belong to the same species. Variations arise naturally in a growing population. Jahan bhi population hogi, because of crossing over, because of recombination, there will be variations. Organisms with variations which are better suited for the environment. Those organisms who have variations which are better suited, right, are the ones which are favored by natural selection. The other ones, the unfit ones, less fitted ones are obviously eliminated. ये process gradually बढ़ता चला जाता है till such time we have speciation. What is speciation? Formation of a new absolutely species. Done? Moving ahead. Do you see the Buddha behind my back? Zen, calm. This is what I want all of you. That's specially why I've chosen this background. Yes, so I want see, you've got to work hard for 15 16 hours every single day. Don't talk unnecessary to unwanted people. Don't harbor any kind of negativity. Don't start anything new. This is the time for revision. This is the time to, you know, to make sure that your strengths improve. Don't do anything which you've not done for the past 3 years. Your best friend tells you, let's study in the night. You study early in the morning. So don't do anything which is new. Make sure that you eat well, you sleep well, and afterwards your distractions are zero and you're only studying. So stay very calm, right? Those stay calm things, that's exactly why I've put this background. So stay calm and keep studying. Yes, and let's add one more thing here. Yes, is that fine? Now should I say, is that clear? That's exactly what you have to do. Yes, so give me a high five on that. Perfecto. Done. Chaliye, moving ahead. Okay, variations in gene frequencies. This is very important. Very, very, very important. This is something which I will explain in detail because इस पे हर साल question आता है, and I do understand कि हो सकता है ये आपको इतनी clarity इसमें ना हो. So I want you to focus on 2 to 3 words here. Number one word which I want to focus is gene frequency. That means genes are changing. So gene frequency is changing within the population. If the gene frequency in a population occurs by chance alone rather than by natural selection, it is referred to as what? Right? Let me explain this on a blank page of paper to you. Very, very important. So ये क्या कह रहा है कि जो जीन है उसकी फ्रीक्वेंसी चेंज हो रही है. कोई जीन कितनी बार रिपीट हो रही है वो उसकी फ्रीक्वेंसी होगी. The gene, the number of times the gene is repeating, that is the frequency. It is saying that the gene frequency is changing. Now this gene frequency can change because of natural selection. ये कह रहा है कि gene frequency किसकी वजह से change हो रही है? चांस की वजह से. Let me explain this to you. This is a forest. Correct? This is a forest. Let us say that this side is water. This side is a big river. Right? Let us write it down. Let me write river here. Very important. Please pay attention. So this becomes a small isolated area. Okay? So this side is sea. This side is river, and there is a small island, very, very small island. Let me make that with black, which connects, small island which connects part A to part B. Small island which connects part A to part B. Is that clear? Correct, everybody? So part A is a small isolated area and part B is a large area. Okay. Now imagine that there are deers in the forest. Okay. So suppose, just imagine that there is a type of deer called spotted deer. Which type of deer? Spotted deer. और ये जो spotted deer है ये सिर्फ A वाली जगह पे पाया जाता है. Just by chance वो इस एरिया में है और बाकी जो नॉर्मल डियर है वो लार्ज एरिया में है. अब मान लो कि इस ए एरिया में लग जाती है फायर और उस फायर की वजह से ये आइलैंड पूरा कोलैप्स हो जाता है, ये आइलैंड गिर जाता है, ये पूरे एरिया में फायर लग जाती है. सो नाउ बिकॉज द एरिया हैज कॉट फायर और स्पॉटेड डियर होते हैं मान लीजिए सिर्फ 40 स्पॉटेड डियर. अब फायर लगने की वजह से 37 या 38 स्पॉटेड डियर एंड दे कांट एस्केप. ये एस्केप क्यों नहीं कर पाते? बिकॉज ये आइलैंड भी कोलैप्स कर गया, तो वो रिवर से भी नहीं जा सकते, सी से भी नहीं जा सकते. सो आउट ऑफ 40 37 38 चले गए. सो पहले जीन फ्रीक्वेंसी क्या थी? पहले मान लीजिए 100 डियर थे, उनमें से 60 थे लार्ज एरिया में नॉर्मल और 40 थे स्मॉल एरिया में स्पॉटेड. Is that clear? This was the normal gene frequency. अब after fire, which is a chance event, किसी ने आग लगाई नहीं, by chance forest fire लग गई, right? और फायर विच इज अ चांस इवेंट, या मान लीजिए अर्थक्वेक आ गया, yes, या यहाँ हिल है और हिल से पत्थर गिर गए. एनीथिंग कैन हैपन विच इज अ चांस इवेंट. नोबडी हैज डन इट. चांस इवेंट के बाद लार्ज और लार्ज एरिया पे नॉर्मल डियर कितने रहे 60, बट जस्ट बाय चांस, प्लीज पे अटेंशन, दिस इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट आई एम डूइंग, जस्ट बाय चांस द स्मॉल एरिया एंड spotted deer 37 38 die, so they become only 2. So from 40 has the gene frequency become only 2, that means only 2 are remaining, their number has come down. और मान लीजिए अगर 2 सिर्फ फीमेल है या 2 सिर्फ मेल है तो वो पूरे के पूरे एक्सटिंक्ट हो जाएंगे because they cannot mate with each other. और मान लीजिए अगर सिर्फ 2 भी है, हो सकता है वो एक दूसरे से मेट ना करें और that entire species will collapse. Is that clear? So just by chance, is the frequency changing? Is the frequency, I have taken an example of deer. So let us say the deer frequency of spotted deer, is it changing only by chance because its small area was surrounded by river and sea? Deer could not escape and it caught fire. Is it happening only by chance? Yes, yes, yes. So this phenomenon is known as Sewall Wright effect. Because there was a person who discovered this, his name was Sewall Wright, and this phenomenon is known as genetic drift. So genetic drift is a chance phenomenon. It occurs only by chance. It was discovered by Sewall Wright. It is a change in the gene frequencies. Is that clear? What is it called? It's called genetic drift. It's also known as, aka, also known as the Sewall Wright effect. Is that clear? It is a change in the gene frequencies just by chance. Yes, it's just getting lucky or unlucky because of chance. Any doubts? Look at this beautiful diagram. So ये beetles है. This person is walking और ये नीचे नहीं देख रहा है, ये आदमी सिर्फ चल रहा है, walking. Let me also write, he is not seeing down. तो इसका पैर by chance green beetles पे पड़ गया. ग्रीन बीटल्स पहले सिर्फ 3 थे, 2 ग्रीन बीटल्स की डेथ हो गई, अब बचा सिर्फ 1 ग्रीन बीटल. क्या ये एक ग्रीन बीटल किसी और से मेट कर सकता है? तो क्या ये ग्रीन बीटल एक्सटिंक्ट हो जाएगा? एंड इज इट हैपनिंग ओनली बाय चांस? Is that clear? That is a Sewall Wright effect. Write it down. 100% MCQ question. So genetic drift or the Sewall Wright effect is the random change in the frequency of alleles or genes in a population over successive generations in the gametes. Over a long period of time, if the frequency changes, right, this is known as Sewall Wright effect. It only happens by chance. Now tell me, अगर ये green 1000 होते, मान लो, this is my question to you, pay attention. My favorite student of the day question, pay attention. अगर ये 1000 होते और उनमें से 10 भी पैर के नीचे आते, तो 990 बचे रह जाते. Would it cause any difference? Would it cause any difference? Tell me. No. Also look at this. अगर ये जो deer है 40 की जगह 400 होते और 35 चले गए होते या 50 चले जाते तो 350 बचते, क्या कोई फर्क पड़ता? नहीं. तो Sewall Wright effect कब फर्क पड़ता है? When the population is very small, only then can you see genetic drift. This is a AIMS and a NEET question. Is that clear? So only when the population is very small will you be able to see a difference in the gene frequency. Is that clear? You have millions and billions and billions of humans. Even if 1 billion, look at the number, even if 1 billion human, you know, if something happens to these humans, will there be a change in gene frequency of humans? No. Yes, पर बेचारे सिर्फ 700 टाइगर है. अगर 700 टाइगर, मान लीजिए 700 टाइगर में से 650 टाइगर गए काम से, then will it change gene frequency? Yes, but if 650 humans die, will it change gene frequency of humans? Is that clear? Every time I say is that clear, I have to smile now. Is that clear? Understood gene frequency, Sewall Wright effect. Let's move on to the next question. The process by which organisms with different evolutionary history, we've done it in yesterday's class, evolve similar phenotypic adaptations. Phenotype वो चीज होती है जो हमें easily दिखाई दे. Anything which I can see is the phenotype. So those organisms which were evolutionarily different, but they look similar when given an environmental challenge, right? There is environment एक challenge दे रहा है, ये 2 organisms हैं, इनके अलग अलग तरह से evolution कर रहे हैं, but ये एक जैसा, दिखने में एक जैसी चीज evolve कर रहे हैं. What is it called? Is it non-random evolution? Is it adaptive radiation? Is it natural selection? Or is it convergent evolution? Come on. It has to be convergent. मान लीजिए there are two organisms. One of them is an insect, right? The other is a bird. इन दोनों के पीछे एक predator पड़ जाता है, ये prey है. So they have to go from that place. What will they immediately use to go from that place? Both of them will fly. So are they converging at wings and are they converging at flying? Yes. One of them is aves. Yes. The other is arthropoda. Yes. Have they organisms with different evolutionary history? Have they developed the same structure which looks similar? Have both of them developed wings for a common environmental challenge, that is to fly away? Yes. That is known as convergent evolution. See, such a classical example. Convergent evolution is the development of superficially similar. Very important point, because bird के जो wings हैं, W लिख रही हूँ मैं wings के लिए सिर्फ, that is modification of the forelimb. That is this, right? It will have a pectoral girdle. This is called your pectoral girdle, right? So the bird will have a forelimb, whereas the insect, which is an arthropoda, its wing will be a appendage. But superficially, both of them look like wings. So they are superficially similar. In the same kind of environment, insect and birds develop wings, right? And the streamlined bodies of whales and fishes. Whale is a mammal. Is that clear? Because both of them need to swim in water. They are given by an external challenge, which is same. What is the external challenge in dono mein? And what do they need to do? And to cut water, what do they do? They streamline their bodies. Is that clear? Understood? Yes? Super cool. Chaliye, moving ahead to the next question. Whoa. Yes, Hardy-Weinberg principle. Every year a question will come on Hardy-Weinberg principle. This is very, very simple. Come on, mention in comments. Let me see who's been able to answer it. Let me see who's been able to answer it. So in a population of 1,000 individuals, 360 belong to genotype capital A, 360, 480 belong to the heterozygous capital A, small a, and 160. So it's total 1,000. So then PQ is equal, yeah, PQ is equal to 480 and small p is equal to A. Based on this data, the frequency of a single, दो जो हैं वो इन्होंने 360 बोल दिए, दो. अब आपसे पूछ रहे हैं एक क्या है बताइए. Yes, square is equal to 360.6. Is it not? Yes. Let me show you how. I've done it for you. Let me show you how. Yes, according to Hardy-Weinberg principle, you know that p square plus 2pq plus q square is equal to 1. जब तक ये 1 है, that means there is no change in the gene frequency. That means p plus q whole square is equal to 1. A is equal to p square is equal to 360 out of 1,000 individuals. P square is equal to 0.36. P is equal to 0.6. Is that clear? Understood? Are you all smiling to yourself? Are you all able to solve the question? Yes? Any doubts? I'm waiting for a second. Is there any doubt that you want to ask me? Are you understanding everything? Are you able to solve everything? Have you read the NCERT for this chapter? It's very important. Read the NCERT. Fossils are very important for this topic. We've done a lot of questions on fossils, which you're going to see right now. Yes, I've done a lot of questions on fossils. Chaliye. Now, this is again a very simple question. Forelimbs of cat, forelimbs of lizard is used for walking. Forelimbs of whale is used in swimming. They're all made up of radius, ulna, humerus, carpal, metacarpal. Forelimbs of bats are used in flying. They have the same internal structure but different function. So the same internal structure, whereas the internal structure being same but still does different function. What is it an example of? It's a classical example of homologous organs. Is that clear? I want everybody in my class to aim for the stars. Yes, aim for the stars. When we put, you've all played basketball. When you want to aim the basket, where do you put your ball? Do you put the ball on top of the basket here so that the ball goes, yes, into the basket? I want each one of you to work very hard. I want each one of you to aim for the stars. Team Vedantu is always there for you, making sure that you actually reach your goal, reach your aim. Yes? So everybody, I know what this age is. Your eyes are full of stars. Your eyes are full of dreams. I don't want anybody to give up on your dreams. Yes, last few days, give it all that you have. Work very, very, very hard. Done? Chalo, let's move ahead. There are homologous organs. We've done that in yesterday's class also. Let me read it out. It was the same diagram. This is very important. You look at the color of the bones. It is exactly the same, although their shape, size, and structure differs depending on the function that they have to do. The organisms which have the same fundamental structure, radius, humerus, yes, carpal, metacarpal, but are different in functions are called as homologous organs. These organs follow the same basic plan of organization during their development, but in the adult condition, these organs are modified to perform different functions. Right? The skeletal parts, so all of them are made up of humerus, radioulnar, carpal, metacarpal, and finally the digits. Remember this, they are all the same. In lizard, they are used for walking, in cat for running, in whale for swimming, and in bat for flying. Right? Any doubts? Is that clear? It's very, very simple. Let's now, a population will not exist in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium if. Yes, now see beta, what is Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium? Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium कहता है, this is very, very, very important. मैं आपको stabilization सिखाऊंगी with the same graphs which are there in NCERT. Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium क्या कहता है? Yes, I've covered the question. Don't worry. Listen to what I'm saying first. Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium कहता है कि जो dominant gene है, जो रिसेसिव जीन है और जो हेटेरोजाइगस हैं, राइट, इसको डोमिनेंट मान लीजिए, ये सारों की वैल्यू कांस्टेंट रहती है. नाउ दैट मींस इफ आई टेक टॉल पीपल, yes, can you see that? Or let me use a blue colored pen on the red background. It says the tall people, the dwarf people, and the heterozygotes, their numbers are always equal if they are randomly mating. That means the tall can mate with the dwarf can mate with the heterozygous can mate with the tall. Random mating. मान लीजिए मैंने इनको mating से हटाई दिया. That means I don't let them mate at all. So मैं सिर्फ इनको या आपस में selfing करवा रही हूँ या इनको मैं tall से हेट्रोजाइगस टॉल से मेट करवा रही हूँ, हेट्रोजाइगोट से मेट करवा रही हूँ. क्या आपके पास कभी भी स्मॉल टी आएगा? यू जस्ट से यस और नो. क्या आपके पास, you've done evolution, you've done quite a lot of genetics, yes, नहीं आएगा. इसमें तो सारे ऐसे आएंगे और इसमें आधे ऐसे आ जाएंगे, बट आपके पास स्मॉल टी नहीं आएगा. सो इफ रैंडम मेटिंग नहीं हो रही है, क्या हमें ये नजर आएगा स्मॉल पी? नो. या स्मॉल टी? सो विल द वैल्यू बी 1? विल ऑल ऑफ देम बी फाउंड? नो. ही सेज सो इक्विलिब्रियम होने के लिए सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी क्या है? रैंडम मेटिंग. You don't have to decide who mates with whom. Any organism can mate with any organism, and that is known as random mating. Any doubts? Yes, so let's move ahead. A population will not exist in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium if the individuals mate selectively. मान लीजिए you do not allow the albinos to mate. No, you just ask the negroids to mate with the mulattoes या व्हीटिश स्किन, जैसे हम इंडियंस की होती है. विल यू एवर हैव ये कॉम्बिनेशन कभी भी आएगा आपके क्रॉस में? बताइए आप, कभी भी ये कॉम्बिनेशन आएगा? नहीं. तो ये धीरे धीरे ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ 100 जनरेशंस ये क्या हो जाएगा? अगर कोई भी, देखो बेटा, हार्डी-विनबर्ग इक्विलिब्रियम कहना क्या चाह रहा है? दिस इज सो इंपॉर्टेंट. हार्डी-विनबर्ग इक्विलिब्रियम प्रेडिक्ट करना चाह रहा है कि कब एवोल्यूशन होगा, क्योंकि जब भी वैल्यू 1 से चेंज होगी मतलब इक्विलिब्रियम नहीं है, तभी वैल्यू 1 से चेंज हो रही है. सो इफ देयर इज नो इक्विलिब्रियम, इट लीड्स टू व्हाट? इट्स लीडिंग टू स्पीसिएशन. अ न्यू स्पीशीज इज गेटिंग क्रिएटेड. इज दैट क्लियर? राइट? अंडरस्टूड? यस. नाउ दिस इज वेरी 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 इंपॉर्टेंट. 3 तरह का सिलेक्शन होता है. जो नेचर होता है ना, वो 3 तरह से सिलेक्ट करता है. करेक्ट? किस तरह से सिलेक्ट करता है? 3 तरह से. फर्स्ट, लेट मी explain this to you with the help of a graph that I'm going to make, and then let me explain this to you with the help of graph which is there. मान लीजिए ये आपकी एक population है और ये population का curve है, right? This is the normal population. So यहाँ पे मान लीजिए ये दोनों extreme है. A is extreme, B, let's say call this C. C is extreme and this is normal, right? This is your median, beach wala. So this is population according to height. This is height which is very less, let us say 4 feet. This is height which is very high, let us call it 6 feet and above. This is lower than 4 feet, this is higher than 6 feet. And these are normal people between 4 to 5.9 feet, let us assume. Correct? अब तीन तरह की सिलेक्शन होती है। पहली सिलेक्शन को हम कहते हैं, फर्स्ट सिलेक्शन को हम कहते हैं डिसरप्टिव। क्या कहते हैं? डिसरप्टिव, मतलब वो डिसरप्ट कर देगी, इट विल टोटली change, it will disrupt. So now this population is in the form of a bell shaped curve. You can see it. There are three types of population. One of them are small in height, one of them are tall in height, the other are average in height in the middle. Disruptive selection आपके दो peaks बना देगी। एक ऑर्गेनिज्म हो जाएगा 4 फीट वाला, दूसरा ये अलग अलग स्पीशीज बन जाएंगे आगे चल के, दूसरा ऑर्गेनिज्म हो जाएगा 6 फीट वाला, और जो बीच का मीडियन ऑर्गेनिज्म वो नहीं था, तो आपने बेल शेप कर्व को डिसरप्ट करके यू फॉर्म टू सेपरेट कर्व्स ऑन इट। इज दैट क्लियर? इट्स वेरी वेरी सिंपल। Number 2 is stabilizing selection. So you've stabilized, you've removed this extreme, you've removed this extreme, you've kept the central stable position at, let's say, 4 to 5.5 feet. This is also selection. Who is doing the selection? कौन है जो दो extremes ले रहा है? कौन है जो बीच की एक extreme ले रहा है? It is nothing but excellent. Therefore, it is called as natural selection. The third type of stabilization change is known as directional, right? So that means either the entire population is moving towards this side or the entire population is moving towards this side. That means बीच का थोड़ा सा एरिया है, बीच का मीन है, but either the population is changing towards dwarfism or the population is changing towards gigantism. It is directional. Either the graph will move towards this direction, that means towards tall people, or the graph will move towards this direction, that is dwarf people. That is known as directional stabilization, right? So this is the median getting stabilized, this is any direction, any extreme getting stabilized, and this is disruptive. Let's look at the graph now, right? So you see this is directional selection against both the extremes, stabilizing in the middle. This is disruptive. Disruptive selection when you have either dwarf people. Look at the line which I'm highlighting with red. This was your normal bell-shaped graph. Now you've got one peak here and one peak here. The ends you've got a peak here. You're moving it towards this side, the dwarfism is going. Is that clear? So the Hardy-Weinberg principle says this will not happen, this will not happen, this will not happen when there is random mating. But when random mating is not there, आपने dwarf को भी हटा दिया, आपने tall को भी हटा दिया, मतलब आप सिर्फ किस में mating कर रहे थे? Median में mating कर रहे थे, तभी तो median population बड़ी है। यहाँ पे आप median में mating कर ही नहीं रहे थे, या तो आप extreme में mate कर रहे थे या दूसरे extreme में mate कर रहे थे। Is that clear? I hope Hardy-Weinberg principle and selection is important. I can give it to you in writing. One question, 100%. That means plus 4 marks from the last 6-7 minutes. 1%, 100% one question is going to come from Hardy-Weinberg principle, from the equation that we solved or the types of selections that we've just done, right? Which one of the most common mechanism of genetic variation in population of a sexually reproducing organism, right? Variation ka sabse zyada common. This is the key word. What is the one which causes variation? Yes, bataiye. Obviously, crossing over, that is what happens. The variations are very small. The variations are very small. The variations are very subtle. बहुत छोटी, बहुत small, बहुत subtle variations होती हैं. Large नहीं होती हैं, but हर step पे होती है, जिसको हम क्या कहते हैं? क्रॉसिंग ओवर। और वो वेरिएशंस जब एक्यूमुलेट हो जाती हैं और नेचर जब उन वेरिएशंस को सिलेक्ट कर लेता है, तो क्या होता है? स्पीसिएशन, right? Due to reshuffling of genes, crossing over, recombinations, routine shuffling which happens during, yes, every stage when gametes are getting produced. So it's crossing over and random fertilization of gametes, right? See this exchange of or recombination किसमें होता है ये? You have got to remember this. This crossing over happens between non-sister chromatids. राइट, सिस्टर में तो सेम समान है, तो उसमें तो क्रॉसिंग ओवर करके कोई फायदा ही नहीं। इट हैपेंस ड्यूरिंग नॉन सिस्टर क्रोमैटिड्स, एंड द नॉन सिस्टर क्रोमैटिड्स जिसमें क्रॉसिंग ओवर होता है, व्हाट आर दे कॉल्ड? दे कॉल्ड एज होमोलोगस क्रोमोसोम्स, राइट? This we have done so many times since morning. Let me move the photograph here. Yes, now can you all see the complete question and the answer? Come on, answer fast, quick. The wings of a bird and the wings of an insect are. We've done it so many times since morning. Absolutely, they are analogous structures. Both of them are different, but they're meant to do the same function, that is flying. That is why it is called as convergent evolution. right? Phylogenetic studies means the studies of evolutionary relationship. कैसे evolution हुआ और कैसे एक organism दूसरे के साथ related है is nothing but phylogenetic studies, right? So you have, correct? See, analogous organs are the organs which have similar function but are different in their structural details. Look at the birds here. Look at the birds. This is a mammal here. Can you see any bones here? Can you see any humerus, radius, ulna, carpal, metacarpal? See, here I've mentioned the bones. But can you see any bones, carpal, metacarpal here? No. In insect, it is just a appendage. But they do the same function, that is of flight. At least homologous, analogous, one question I expect that it will 100% come. And because we've done it so many times in yesterday's class, as well as today's class, I hope you will not make any mistake. Is that clear? One last time. Is it clear? Any doubts? Perfect. Industrial melanism. Also something I'd shown you a beautiful diagram of the moth yesterday. So industrial melanism, we had done it yesterday also. I told you about lichens in yesterday's class. I told you about sulfur dioxide. Before industrial melanism, because पेड़ की bark सफेद रहती थी, सफेद रहता था, you know, the moth. और क्योंकि बाद में industrial melanism के बाद lichen चला गया, soot deposit हो गया पेड़ पे. So what colored moth was there? The black one was naturally selected. So who's selecting it? Nature, but this is brought about by humans. So it is anthropogenic natural selection because the effects are man-made. Yes, look at this lovely diagram that I found again. अब ये क्या होने लग गया? Let me use a red pen at least here. ये क्या होने लग गया यहाँ पे? This is camouflaged. और ये क्या दिख रहा है? After, this is after industrial revolution. ये क्या हो गया है? Visible. पहले क्या था? Before. ये था hidden और ये था visible. So पहले इसकी population ज्यादा थी, बाद में इसकी population ज्यादा होने लग गई. Is that clear? Again, which one of the following? See, homologous, analogous पे we must have done at least 12 to 15 questions. Minimum 12 to 15 questions in nearly the 200 slides that we have done. Yes, yesterday's class we did close to 75-80 slides. Today's class again we are doing, you're getting homeworks. Yes, everybody. So out of this, at least 15 to 20 slides must be on homologous, analogous, out of which one question will 100% come in the exam. Understood? So I hope now you will not make any mistake. Which one of the following structures is homologous to the wing of a bird? I'm sure all of you have answered till now. The flipper of a whale is homologous because the basic structure remains the same. Right? That's a giant humpback whale. Correct? Homologous organs have the same fundamental structure but different function. I don't think so. We need to do it. We've done it so many times. Humerus, radius, ulna, carpal, metacarpal, and digits. The wings of birds help them to fly, while flipper helps the whale to swim. Correct? Genetic drifts. I explained this to you in detail. छोटी populations में, I told you, humans में से अगर 500-600 को कुछ हो भी गया फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा because the population is so large. कोई जीन्स गायब नहीं होंगी. बट इन स्मॉल आइसोलेटेड पॉपुलेशन, याद रखिए मैंने एक तरफ रिवर बनाई थी, यस, एक तरफ सी बनाया था. सो स्मॉल पॉपुलेशन विच आर आइसोलेटेड, जो कहीं नहीं जा सकती, उनको जेनेटिक ड्रिफ्ट का बहुत ज्यादा फर्क पड़ेगा. जेनेटिक ड्रिफ्ट का मैंने आपको एक और नाम क्या बताया, जल्दी बताइए, राइट इट आउट. सी वॉल राइट इफेक्ट. Is that clear? It's known as the Sewall Wright effect. The random changes which occur only because of chance. This word is very important. It is asked in MCQs multiple times. Rather than by natural selection are called as genetic drift or Sewall Wright effect. The effects of genetic drift are most marked in very small isolated population, though it occurs across all. See, ड्रिफ्ट सब में होगा बट लार्ज पॉपुलेशन में इतना बड़ा जीन पूल होगा कि फर्क ही नहीं पड़ेगा. यू हैव अ डेली वेज लेबरर, ही अर्न्स 100 rupees every day by driving rickshaws, right? So from this person, if 90 rupees goes, somebody steals 90 rupees, he will be left with only 10 rupees. Will there be a difference in his salary? Yes. Now you have somebody like, yes, even if he loses. Like today, I was reading a piece of news where you know this person who's the founder of Tesla. Yes, he lost I think $2 billion or something. Yes, because I think 1% of his shares fell down. $2 billion, $2 billion US dollars. Are you getting my point? But is there any difference? No, right? But if this person loses only 90 rupees also, yes, a daily wage laborer, there'll be a lot of difference. Is that clear? Because it's a very small sum that he has. Similarly, when the genes are very small, you remove them, big difference. But the gene pool is so big, there are billions and billions of humans. If you remove some of them, no difference. Is that clear? So it's a random chance event and it occurs in very small isolated populations, right? Very, very important. Now, these are 4 statements. You have them right in front of you. Put them in order. Come on. Put them in the correct sequence. These are the 4 options that you have. Formation of protobions, synthesis of organic monomers, synthesis of organic polymers, and formation of DNA-based genetic system. Come on, put them in order. Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 statements. I want you to put them in order for me. Absolutely. Right? So what are the statements? The statements are as follows in front of you. The first statement is synthesis of organic monomers, then synthesis of organic polymers, then formation of protobions, and finally formation of DNA based, or the first one could be RNA based, right? Genetic material. RNA is simpler to form. Pay attention. This could come in MCQs. RNA is much simpler to form. It's much simpler to form. Also, RNA directly can form proteins. If you have DNA, the DNA will form RNA and then it will form a protein. But RNA can form protein in a single step. Therefore, RNA was the first genetic material to be found, right? Yes. So you RNA world. See, this is the first genetic material to be formed. This is very, very important. Is that clear? Co-acervates I discussed in detail in yesterday's class. Was it clear? It's not. Is it clear now? Was it clear yesterday? Yes, correct. Perfect. So co-acervates were formed by polymerization, right? The lipid, the colloids came together. याद करिए कल का diagram. इतने सारे colloids मैंने एक साथ बनाए हुए. याद करिए कल का diagram. So they're all coming together. They are aggregating and they are forming co-acervates. They have lipids also, correct? And they form co-acervates. See this diagram, right? So aggregation is there. Is that clear? The large organic molecules which were synthesized due to, abiotically, there was no life which was involved. They came together and due to intermolecular attraction, they used to just stick to each other. Yes, आपने कभी क्या किया? Have you ever heated oil in a pan? Have you ever taken a pan and put a drop of oil here, put a drop of oil in, and the moment you do like this to the pan, if you ever try to, all the oil molecules, they aggregate, right? So intermolecular attraction, the molecules attracted each other because of which they formed large colloid. Molecules के बीच में attraction हुआ, जिसकी वजह से उन्होंने बहुत बड़े colloidal aggregates बनाए. Right? Such colloidal bodies, this is very, very important. Let me use a blue colored bright pen to explain this to you. Such colloidal bodies were known as coacervates by Oparin. कल की क्लास में हमने पढ़ा AI Oparin was from Russia. Right? JBS Haldane later on became an Indian citizen. JBS Haldane आकर इंडिया में ओडिशा में सेटल हो गया था, but he was basically a British. So ये किस किस के बने होते हैं? What are the molecules? ये मैंने कल की क्लास में भी बताया था. जो मैक्रोमोलिक्यूल्स जो बन रहे हैं वो किस किस के बने हैं? They are made up of proteins, they are made up of nucleic acids, lipids, polysaccharides, right? Is that clear? Yes, perfect. Let's move ahead. The first life originated where? Yesterday I used a term again and again called what? Prebiotic soup. I did not discover, I did not invent, I did not use this term for the first time. It was AI Oparin and JBS Haldane, right? So depending on this, where could the soup be? The soup can only be in water. Yes or no? So the first life originated in water, right? The coacervates, the first life, the first RNA, all of it was found in water. Therefore, the Urey-Miller experiment was also done with water as a base. The first life originated in water. The cells were known as protocells. The first cells, they came in the ancient oceans, represented the beginning of life, which marked with biosynthesis, replication, nutrition, and adaptation. It is estimated that protocells or eubions, this can come, eubions are also referred to as the first true life. U means true. The first true life appeared in the ancient oceans about 3700 million years ago. It is estimated that life originated about 3700 million years ago in the form of protocells or eubions. Any doubts till now? Yes? Anything that you've not been able to understand? Anything that you want to ask me? No? Should I move ahead? Perfect. Perfect. Earliest hot atmosphere of Earth, right? Again, the same gases which Urey and Miller had put in their, yes, the same gases which Urey and Miller had put in their test. What are the gases? You're absolutely right. Hydrogen, methane, ammonia. It was anoxygenic. This is the same term which I had used yesterday. There was no oxygen. The first oxygen forming organisms were nothing but blue-green algae. So there was hydrogen, methane, ammonia, and water vapor. There was no sulfur. There was no nitrogen. There was no oxygen. There was no nitrogen. There was ammonia, in fact, NH3. Not molecular nitrogen. Yes. So the experimental proof given by Stanley Miller and Harold C. Urey suggested that the early hot atmosphere of Earth was composed of ammonia, water, methane, and hydrogen. Carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen were absent in their molecular form. There was no carbon, there was no oxygen, and there was no nitrogen. Is that clear? In the molecular form, it did not exist. Any doubts? Are you understanding? Yesterday we did discuss the Urey-Miller experiment. It is very important. It is on the basis of the theory put forward by A.I. Oparin and J.B.S. Haldane. So the theory which was given by A.I. Oparin and J.B.S. Haldane was experimentally proved by Miller and Urey. Next question on your screen, again from Urey-Miller experiment. Let me also tell you that Urey-Miller homologous analogous, right? If they want to make the paper tough, then your chance effect. Yes, and then Urey-Miller experiment, and one question from A.I. Oparin, yeah, Urey-Miller experiment. These are classics, aana hi aana hai. Finding of Miller's experiment on origin of life has provided evidence for which theory? Theory of special creation की भगवान ने रख दिया, फादर सुरेश ने दी थी. Theory of biogenesis, लाइफ से आई है. Theory of abiogenesis की लाइफ तो मतलब कहीं से भी आ सकती है, गंदे कपड़े रख दो चूहे पैदा हो जाएंगे. और theory of organic evolution, that life came from organic material. Life came from carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, right? Obviously, the first life did not come from oxygen because there was only ammonia, methane, and carbon dioxide. Yes? So it is organic evolution. Stanley Miller provided the support for Oparin's idea. Idea था A.I. Oparin और J.B.S. Haldane का. Miller ने amino acid बनाकर दिखाए through his experiment. In his experiment in 1953, he used hydrogen, he used methane, he used ammonia and water as the raw material and obtained mixture of simple amino acids as a byproduct. So this is what he said, that entire evolution occurs from this. So what are the gases that he had? Hydrogen, methane, ammonia and water vapors, right? And what did he make? He made amino acids in his experimental laboratory in 1953. Whose idea was it? The idea was of, yes, you're absolutely right. The idea was of A.I. Oparin and J.B.S. Haldane, who experimentally proved it. Stanley Miller and Harold C. Urey. ये तो मैंने कल कितनी बार किया है, एक बार पहले भी किया है. इसके बारे में you will be able to find data even on the evolution theory chapter that I have discussed in NEET. So Archaeopteryx क्या था? The preserve. कल हमने याद करी Onychophora के नाम पे एक मिसिंग लिंक किया था, थर्ड या फोर्थ क्वेश्चन था, Peripatus, Onychophora. तब भी मैंने कनेक्टिंग लिंक ये रिपीट किया था. Are you seeing all the lectures? So the preserved fossil remains of Archaeopteryx क्या शो करता है? Was it a flying reptile? That reptiles gave rise to birds during Jurassic period. It was flying reptile from the Permian period, or reptiles gave rise to birds during Permian period. I think you should be confused between B and D. Jurassic is the era of dinosaurs, right? That is why that movie is called Jurassic Park. Birds eye from them during Permian period, not during the Jurassic period, right? Is that clear, everybody? You want me to make some charts on eras, epochs? You want me to do that, or you've already done it? Whatever you want me to make charts on, you know I'm already coming up with charts on euphemisms. I'm coming charts on tips and tricks. So if you want me to make any charts, especially on this, let me know. Yes, please. Did you see the chapter oxidative phosphorylation from NEET? परफेक्टिंग फोटो फॉस्फोरिलेशन करके मैंने एक YouTube लेक्चर बनाया है नीट पे। आई होप आप बायोटेक के लेक्चर्स देख रहे हैं। यस, मलेरिया पे एक लेक्चर है विच इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। मैं जितने बाकी बैचेस को पढ़ा रही हूँ वो सारे बैचेस फटाफट मलेरिया के आंसर्स आंसर कर रहे हैं बिकॉज दे हैव ऑलरेडी सीन द मलेरिया यूट्यूब लेक्चर। यस, इन 40 minutes आई हैव ओनली डन मलेरिया। प्लीज गो होम सी इट। प्लीज सी परफेक्टिंग फोटोफॉस्फोरिलेशन बिकॉज फोटोफॉस्फोरिलेशन से बहुत एमसीक्यूज आते हैं। दिस इज देयर इन द नीट वेदांतो यूट्यूब चैनल और इसमें मैंने शॉर्टकट्स दिए हैं फोटोफॉस्फोरिलेशन को याद करने के लिए। Right, I have used shortcuts to remember photophosphorylation. Right, I've also made lectures plant morpho के आपके MCQ हो चुके हैं. Please see the theory lecture also of plant morpho. I have used live plants to show you so that you are able to remember. Also chlorophyll पे, all these things are just coming to my mind. Chlorophyll पे मैंने एक बहुत important webinar लिया था. Chlorophyll पे हर साल MCQ आता है. There is a very important webinar that I've taken on that. Very, very important. Find a link on that. If you don't find a link, please message me and please see it. Right? चलिए, let's move ahead. इस पे I've given photophosphorylation के shortcuts. That's why I'm telling you to see it. Right? Especially Z chain photophosphorylation. All you can't remember. I've given you shortcuts for the entire thing to remember things. Yes. So the first fossil birds found in the rocks of the Jurassic period belong to the genre Archaeopteryx. Archaeopteryx was discovered in 1861 by Andreas Wegener from the Upper Jurassic limestones of Sollenbotten in Bavaria, Germany. Archaeopteryx has a skeleton जिसके पास dinosaurian traits है, जैसे scales हैं, scales are reptilian traits, jointed tail है, mouth है, fingers पे claws है grasp करने के लिए, इसके पास avian characters भी है, birds की bones क्या होती है, hollow so that they can fly, feathers होते हैं. Archaeopteryx is regarded, this is the most important thing, remember they have scales, remember they have teeth, remember they have claws, remember they have hollow bones. Is that clear? They were found in Permian era. They are regarded as the connecting link between reptiles and aves, but they are called the missing link because we don't see them in reality. We just have a fossil record of the same. The dominant animal of the Mesozoic era. यही मैं बोल रही थी. You want me to make a pie diagram or a chart or a mind map of the eras? If you tell me, I will make it and I will share mind maps with you. Just let me know them in comment sections. Yes? Okay. So the dominant animal of the Mesozoic era was Plesiosaurus was the dominant animal of the Mesozoic era. Again, I'm making stars, right? Your dreams are like stars. We should not leave your eyes. We should not let you sleep. Correct? Moving ahead. Next question, last 5-6 minutes, let's finish this. Mesozoic era is a geological era that extended from the end of the Paleozoic era, about 248 million years ago, to the beginning of the Cenozoic era. यही मैं बोल रही हूँ, आपको चाहिए कि Paleozoic era में क्या पाया जाता था, Cenozoic era में क्या पाया जाता था, Jurassic, Triassic, Precambrian, क्या पाया जाता है? You want that? Mesozoic era like this. Mesozoic is very important. It is often known as the age of reptiles. This is a very, very important MCQ question. As these animals, which included dinosaurs, Pterosaurus, became the dominant life form and most of them became extinct before the end of the era. Correct? Chaliye. Moving ahead. Most of the fossils. Now, next 5 to 6 questions are only on fossils, which is very, very important. Most of the fossils are found in which type of rock? Sedimentary, metamorphic, igneous, none of these. Which type of rocks? Obviously, ये पानी का शोर है. Let me draw that with a black colored pen. ये पानी का शोर है. एक animal जाता है और पानी पीने जाता है. Yes, is it not even looking like an animal? Let's try and make a tortoise. It's not looking like a tortoise though. Right? तो ये जा रहा है पानी पीने and suddenly it's like quicksand. Right? It's quicksand, दलदल टाइप है, ये दब गया, धीरे धीरे ऊपर डिपोजिशन हो जाएगी और ये नीचे जाता रहेगा और ये क्या हो जाएगा? सेडिमेंट. जितना ऑर्गेनिज्म सेडिमेंट में ऊपर पाया जाएगा दैट मींस इट्स अ न्यू ऑर्गेनिज्म. जितना ऑर्गेनिज्म सेडिमेंट में नीचे पाया जाएगा दैट मींस इट इज अ वेरी ओल्ड ऑर्गेनिज्म. सो सेडिमेंटरी रॉक्स. Fossils are the remains, traces and impressions of the past. Please see the YouTube lecture. I have taken class on fossils, right? Found in rocks of different ages. There are mainly 3 types of rocks: igneous, sedimentary and metamorphic rocks. Sedimentary rocks, sedimentation, धीरे धीरे sediment हो रहा है, hard हो रहे हैं. That is why India में बहुत fossils राजस्थान में पाए जाते हैं because we have limestone, sandstone. Most of the fossils occur in sedimentary rocks. Igneous rocks, this can come as a direct MCQ on its own. I'm writing it with a green pen. Please pay attention. Igneous rocks arise from cooling of lava or volcanic eruption. Example, granite is igneous rocks. Metamorphic rocks are sedimentary rocks, change due to heat. Total change हो गया, metamorphosis because of heat, pressure or gases. Marble from limestone, slate from clay, metamorphosis. So slate किससे आती है? Slate comes from clay. Marble किससे आता है? From limestone. Total metamorphosis. Understood? Yes. Wings of birds and forelimbs of horses. We've done it at least 100 times. It's become like a nursery rhyme now. Yes, Johnny, Johnny, you will say yes, Papa. Open your mouth, you will say ha, ha, ha. Correct, we've done it so many times. Homologous. ये तो ऐसा क्वेश्चन हो गया, अगर आपको नींद से भी जगा के कोई बोलेगा, you'll be like homologous. Yes? Clear? I don't even want to do this example. This photograph is done, this photograph is done, this is done at least 20 times. Why did I do it? All of them are previous year questions. It's very, 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 very important, right? Fossilization would occur when flora and fauna are buried by. Industrial से बरी कर दो, natural process से कैसे? कैसे fossil बनेंगे? Flora and fauna, पेड़ पौधे कैसे बरी किए जाएं कि fossil बनेंगे? Right, natural process, industrial, also you can create artificial fossils. Obviously the fossils will not be natural fossils, they will be artificial fossils. How? Simple. Yes, everybody, but over millions of years they will be turned into fossils. Any doubts? Cool. Right? Fossils are the remains or the impressions left in rocks by long dead, बहुत देर से मरे हुए animals and plants. Mineral salts from the surrounding rocks gradually replace the hard organic material. जो भी उनका organic material होता है उसको धीरे धीरे mineral salts replace कर देते हैं. एक खाली खोखला चीज बन जाते हैं जिन पे उनके निशान रह जाते हैं, जिसको हम कहते हैं petrification. Right? और धीरे धीरे हो सकता है कि जहां उनका निशान रह गया वहां भी कुछ आकर रह जाए. Now you see these skulls, ये टॉप लेयर में पाए जाते हैं because humans ने evolution बहुत लास्ट में किया है. See these aquatic organisms के remains, क्योंकि सबसे पहले लाइफ कहाँ शुरू हुई थी? वाटर में. So the lower we go, the older the organism. The upper we go, the newer the organism. Right? Next question on your screen, please. Darwin, the theory of natural selection ने क्या कहा था? Yesterday we did this small variations. You remember fill in the blanks वाला question था. चलिए बताइए. Bataiye, Darwin in the theory of natural selection, what did he say? He said that natural selection acts on favorable variations which appear among individuals of a species. जो भी चीज favorable होगी उसको nature क्या कर लेगा? Choose. मैंने कल आपको बोला था पहला statement क्या होगा? There will be overproduction. Overproduction के बाद क्या होगा? There will be fighting. Yes, so they will fight. So then finally what will happen? Survival of the fittest. So nature will choose the one which has the most favorable variation amongst the entire lot. Darwinism or theory of natural selection is a theory of organic evolution which states that new species evolve over a long period of time through accumulation of, this is the point which I made yesterday also, small variations जिसको Richard Owen ने उसके against बोला था. Right? So the organism जिसके अंदर सबसे अच्छा structural और functional superiority है, nature उसको choose कर लेगा, which is known as survival of the fittest. और धीरे धीरे वो क्या बन जाएगा? एक नई species जिसको हम क्या कहते हैं? Speciation. Done? Okay. Moving ahead. Darwin traveled in this. Also, I told you yesterday he traveled in a special ship. Yes, ये तो इंडिया की है, which is known as. This is तो Indian Navy fighter ship. Yes, aircraft carrier. ये एम्स में आ सकता है, यहां नहीं आएगा. Yes. So it was HMS Beagle was the name of the ship. Where did he go? We did it yesterday. He went to the Galapagos Island. Charles Darwin was an English naturalist. He got an opportunity to travel on the HMS Beagle for a voyage of the world exploration. This led to the foundation of the famous theory of natural selection. This looks like an artist's depiction of his photograph. Is that clear? So with that, we've come to nearly the end of this chapter. We've done 160 slides on evolution. That is what we've done in quite an exhaustive way. So I hope now you're confident about this chapter. You want me to make any tricks, any diagrams, anything from this chapter, read the NCERT. If you have any doubts, please feel free to make sure that you connect with me through the comment section. Some of you also have my email ID. If you want my email ID to connect with me, please make sure that you leave it behind in the comment section. I will let you know my email ID and then you can comment and get in touch with me. Yes. So with that, my dear children, we come to an end of another fabulous, super cool, super entertaining and extremely informative session. I hope you enjoyed the session as much as I enjoyed taking this session for you. As all my sessions are, they were interspersed with a lot of wisdom along with a lot of motivation. I hope you're motivated. You're all set to go. You're all set to make sure that you kind of absolutely rock the world. I just want to write 3 words. Stay with me for 3 seconds. I want to write this for you. This should be your slogan. Yes, this has to be your slogan. That every competition, every exam, everything that life throws at you, you will come out successful. When life throws lemons at you, what do? Squeeze the lemons and make lemonade. Yes? So with that, my dear children, don't give up. These are trying times. These are testing times. These are tough times. Make sure that you have your parents' blessings. You have our good wishes, and you do fabulously well in these exams which are coming. Taking leave on behalf of Vedantu, this is Dr. Vani signing off for today. I'll see you off in the next class. Bye.